Sonic's Green Hills Adventures, Season 5, Chapter 6, New Discoveries. Modern Sonic's point of view.
Once I woke up the next morning, all the memories of last night flooded back to the front of my mind. Then it all left me frozen in a delayed state of shock. I couldn't get the image of movie Sonic screaming in his sleep like that out of my head. Just what happened that nightmare that caused such a horrifying reaction? And what did Echidnas have to do with all this? Suddenly, I was snapped out of it when I heard a knock on the door as Silver opened it.
Hey, Monder. Are you alright?
Silver asked carefully as he came over to me. No, I am not. Sonic had a nightmare last night. It was so bad that only Natty could wake him up. He slept in their bedroom last night. Also, he said echidnas in his sleep, and his body was all electrified. I explained as we went downstairs.
Echidnas? Oh no, that means it's real bad. He hasn't had a dream about them since before he even met Shadow and Marina, which was before me.
We better go check on him then, I said as we hurried over to the master bedroom.
Movie Sonic's point of view.
I was sitting up in my parents' bed shakily as the memories of my night terror came rushing back to me. When I saw the door opening, it startled me for I was on high alert because of the memories. Thankfully, I relaxed immediately when I saw that it was just Modern and Silver.
Hey Sonic, what exactly happened last night? All Monder could tell me is that it was a nightmare about echidnas.
Silver asked in concern as they sat on either side of me.
And I don't understand. What did echidnas do to you that obviously left you so traumatized?
Modern asked with confusion in his eyes. He was just as freaked out about it as I was, but without the proper context. They were the reason I left Mobius in the first place.
No, wait, that's horrible.
As for last night, I only want to describe it once, so I'll tell everyone at Marina's house. Now, I believe I do smell breakfast being cooked, I said and dashed out before they could get another word in.
Modern Sonic's point of view.
I turned to Silver and he looked even more worried than before. What's wrong, Silver? I asked nervously as we began to head to the dining room.
Well, didn't you feel the tunnel whiplash from Sonic just now? He really can't talk about it until later or else it would cause him to have some sort of breakdown. Something tells me this was more than a horrifying dream. And it wouldn't be the first time.
Silver replied quietly as we arrived in the dining room, and then that last sentence made me do a double take. Wait. What do you mean by not the first time? I asked carefully as I saw movie Sonic talking with Maddie as she rubbed the back of one of his ears with a free hand.
It's happened 2 other times. Or 3 if we're counting the one that predicted his and Mom Plus reunion. Long story short, he was cursed to have dangerous nightmares that would physically injure him. It happened before I came into the family, and several months before Annika was born. But according to Shadow, he was pretty brutal. The 3rd time is a story for another day.
Whoa, that's scary, I said shakily right before movie Sonic came in.
Movie Sonic's point of view.
I felt like my normal self again thanks to Pretzel Mom's reassurance. Then I saw Silver and Modern sitting at the table. Hey guys, Pretzel Mom made pancakes for breakfast today, I said as I sat next to them. However, I saw that the looks on their faces were still worried.
Are you okay? Even Silver felt the whiplash.
Oh, really? Well, I'm doing fine. I guess I'm just that optimistic, I replied sheepishly as I sat down next to them.
Well, that's great. So, what are these friends I'm going to meet like?
That got me started on giving a vague description of all my friends.
Movie Shadow's point of view.
I woke up with an ominous feeling, like as if I were being watched, so I quickly checked the perimeter of the house, just to be safe. Thankfully, I didn't find anything suspicious. After I appeared outside my bedroom door, my ears perked up as I could hear that Annika was still in the nursery. Huh, that's odd. Wasn't Silver sleeping in there? I said it as I headed down the hallway to the nursery. When I walked in, Silver wasn't there, so I walked over to Annika's crib, just in time to see Annika open her adorable sapphire eyes. Hey there, little sis. Did you sleep well? I asked as I took her into my arms. She simply giggled in response. Well, let's go see if everyone else is awake, shall we? I suggested as we left the nursery. As I was walking down the stairs, my ears picked up on Movie Sonic's rambling about our friends.
Marina's point of view.
After I ate breakfast and did my morning run and swim, I took out my phone to call my friends, starting with Joey.
Hey Marina, what's up?
I just have exciting news for all of you. I met a new friend I'd like you all to meet, so come to my place this afternoon. Trust me, your jaw will drop.
Oh really? That's great. However, with the way you're being cryptic, something tells me it's not a normal friend.
Joey said in reaction. I could practically hear him smirking. Alright, you got me, but trust me on this one, okay?
Alright, see you then. Bye Marina.
Joey said right before he hung up. A few more calls later, everyone was in the know.
Modern Sonic's point of view.
A few hours later, it was finally time to head to Marina's house. We were walking there, Monica was in Shadow's arms. That's when I noticed that the Wachowski brothers had a suspicious look on their faces. One that I could recognize. Okay guys, you're obviously hiding something from me. And don't even try to deny it. It's written all over your faces. So what is it? I said with a smirk on my face.
Alright, you got us. However, it's a surprise for once we get to Marina's place.
Okay, if you say so, I said casually.
Hey Shadow, what took you so long to come downstairs for breakfast anyway?
Shadow looked like he was lost in thought until Silver asked that.
Oh, well, I felt like I was being watched, but there wasn't anything suspicious anywhere near the house.
Shadow replied nervously, which from my experience with Modern Shadow was an omen.
Really? That's odd. But man, I just realized something. How do you think our friends will react to seeing two Sonics? I bet it's gonna be priceless.
Silver said right before we started walking up the driveway of a massive house. Whoa, this is Marina's house? It's huge, I said as my jaw dropped.
Yep, her parents won the lottery and used the money to build this place.
Movie Sonic said as he knocked on the door. Wow, that's awesome, I said right before the door opened. A human teenage girl stood there with a big smile on her face. She looks a lot like Marina, but that's impossible since last I checked. She was a hedgehog.
Hey Marina.
Movie Sonic said as he jumped into the girl's arms. Wait, back up. I'm completely lost here. Weren't you a hedgehog yesterday? I asked in shocked confusion.
Yes, however, this is my real form. That Mobian form is an ability I gave myself so I could be more useful in battle. Because I thought it would be cool, but mostly as you can see, the height difference would make mine and Sonic's relationship a little awkward.
Marina replied confidently as she kissed Movie Sonic's cheek. Then she put Movie Sonic down. Well, I didn't see that coming. But that's so cool, I said excitedly as she allowed us to enter the house.
Come on guys, our friends are waiting by the pool and they're so excited to meet the mysterious new friend. And yes, I kept who you are a surprise, Modern. I thought it would be priceless.
Marina said as she giggled a little. However, I did a double take. Wait, did you say pool? Because I don't do well with large bodies of water, I said nervously.
Movie Sonic's point of view.
When he said that, I got a flashback to when I met Heath Sonic. He said he almost drowned. Oh, that's right. Other Sonics can't swim, can they? I asked as I snapped back to reality.
Yes. Wait, are you saying you can?
Yes, I can. The closest to that fear I had was with the ocean. You know, because it stings. But Shadow and Marina helped me get over it when we went to the Australian coast. Speaking of which, you'll be seeing that surprise in a minute. But first, meet all our friends, I exclaimed excitedly as we arrived at the backyard. Guys, meet Modern. He's another version of me like Heath Sonic, I said dramatically as I watched their jaws drop as they saw him.
Whoa, this is so trippy in the best way.
Dib said as everyone nodded in agreement.
Modern Sonic's point of view.
After the Wachowski brothers' friends introduced themselves, which included aliens that were not Mobians but a species called Urkins, I was stunned. Whoa, you might still be new to the whole adventure thing, but you've been on some wild ones already, huh? I asked them.
Most definitely. But it wasn't all excitement. Remember what Silver told you about that curse thing this morning? And yes, of course I heard you. My hearing is super sensitive. Well, Tamizra, who was corrupted by dark magic at the time, placed it on me. I almost lost everything. But thanks to Marina's love for me and me loving her back, I was freed from it forever when she kissed me. So we're living proof that true love exists. Now, you ready for the surprise of your life, Modern?
Movie Sonic said as he signaled to Marina and his brothers with a knowing smirk. Absolutely, but the surprise of my life has quite the challenge, I said smugly.
Alright, on the count of 3.
Movie Sonic said as they faced the pool holding hands, and then after the countdown, they all jumped into the pool. I ran over to the edge of the pool when I saw it start to bubble unnaturally. A few moments later, the bubbling vanished. Then Movie Sonic jumped from the water into the air, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was a merhog now. The others did the same not long afterhand, and then they swam to the edge of the pool where I was. Whoa, that's incredible! How did this happen? I said, feeling excitement I haven't experienced in a while.
And that's why we had to show you rather than tell you first. It involves the other time Sonic had a dream that was more than a dream. It was 2 visions. The first was of an island that we now know is called Mako Island, and the full moon. The second was the 4 of us in a cave with a pool that leads to the ocean, which is called the Moon Pool. At first, they didn't know I was the 4th person that was going to be with them. In fact, they couldn't see who it was at all, just that they were on the same side.
So thanks to our summer vacation being at the Australian coast, which isn't too far away from Mako, and meeting our friends from there, with 4 of them being mermaids too. Although we didn't know it until after we got these powers. We figured the vision out, without knowing what would happen after. I guess they wanted it to be a surprise for us. Anyway, on the night of the following full moon, one of them named Lewis took us to Mako Island, and once we set foot on the beach, we felt a force or something like that pulling us to where the moon pool was. Right before we reached it, Silver accidentally gave away his position. He was following us out of curiosity. So that's when I realized he was the mysterious person in my second vision. Once we made it to our destination, and according to Lewis, we fell into some kind of trance, jumped into the pool, and stared at the full moon as it passed over the cone of the dormant volcano that the moon pool was directly under. Then, once it moved away, we came back to our senses, completely confused as to how we ended up in the moon pool. Then the next morning, when we made contact with water, we found out what the vision was truly leading us towards.
Movie Sonic explained as he lifted his tail fin up and out of the water for emphasis. Something tells me there's more to it than that, I said with a smug smirk.
And you're right, there's more. Marina, care to start us off?
Movie Sonic replied as he looked to Marina. Then Marina made a ball of water float into the air. Whoa, you have hydrokinesis? I asked in amazement.
Yep, I guess that's one way of putting it. Now, Shadow, care to do the honors?
Marina, who had turned to her Mobian form for this, replied as she gestured to Shadow.
With pleasure.
Shadow said it and the ball of water froze. No way! I said as I saw Movie Sonic wasn't kidding, that this was the biggest surprise of my life.
Now observe my power.
Movie Sonic said and then he dumped the ball of water.
And finally mine.
Silver said and the ball of water wasn't water anymore. Whoa, what happened? I asked, a little confused.
It's some sort of jelly now, and I can reverse it too.
Silver replied and did just that. Then Marina made the ball of water disappear.
Now, I believe we have a pair of movies for us to see.
Marina announced that Silver used his psychokinesis to get themselves out of the pool. Then Movie Sonic used his heat power to dry them off, which led them to having their legs again. Huh, talk about having a power of convenience. And I have a good feeling this will be interesting, I said as we headed inside.